This video is going to be about buying and selling simultaneously. It's not an easy thing to do. There's a few different scenarios that you can go through, and there's a few different tactics that we can use to accomplish whatever your goals are. At the end of this video, I hope that you pick up some tips and tricks on which scenario works better for you, and hopefully it'll help you if you are in that situation to do so. If you don't want to have the stress of having to sell your house first and then find something to buy and feel like you're under the gun, the option of buying first is possible, but there's a few things you have to do to really figure out if that's going to be something that can work for you. The first thing you need to do is speak to a lender to see if you can afford to possibly cover 2 payments at once if your house doesn't sell in time. The next thing you would have to do, in my opinion, is trust your real estate agent. You really have to get the house prepared to be sold before you're actually going to put on the market. Take the pictures, clean up, do any renovations that you have to do while simultaneously looking for houses. Once you find the right house, be aggressive in your bid and make sure that you have at least 5% down payment in order to go to contract on that property. Once you achieve that and you do find the perfect house, you have to list your house immediately. That's where having the house prepared prior to putting it up for sale and prior to even looking for homes comes into play. Once that house goes to contract, now you have to simultaneously prepare those 2 houses to close. You want to make sure your home is going to close prior to the other house closing. If you can't work that out, just have a little bit of a backup plan and make sure that financially you're going to be able to do both at the same time. It is a little bit stressful, but less stressful than having to sell first and then feeling like you're under the gun to buy something. If you're not in the position where you can buy first and then sell your home, and you have to put your house up for sale and go to contract before you can buy, there's a certain way to go about it that can make it a little bit less stressful. The first thing would be to really define where you want to be and figure out what neighborhoods, what price point, and what section of town that you want to be in. So you really should be looking at homes before you put your house up for sale. Once you've kind of narrowed down that search, then it's time to prepare the home, get it up for sale. Once the house is up for sale, you have to simultaneously be looking at properties, because if you sell the house quickly, you might have a house that you just saw that you could place a bid on. You won't be able to place the bid on the property until your house is under contract. Once that does occur, you have to be super aggressive, and you have to make sure that when you negotiated your terms on your house, to take a couple things into account. When you pick the bidder for your property, you shouldn't always think about the highest price. When you're in a situation where you have to sell and then buy, you want to maybe take into consideration other factors like flexibility on closing and terms. If you have a flexible buyer who's willing to give you more time to purchase, that can make your transition a little bit easier, and it just make your process and your experience a little bit better. Once you get that house into contract, you want to make sure that you're super aggressive when you do find a property. So once you do identify something, make sure your bids are aggressive, and make sure that when you do go to contract on your purchase, you're trying to align both houses at the same time. So whatever your contract date is with the house that you sold, make sure to align that with the house that you're purchasing. That way you can do a simultaneous sale and a buy. Ideally, you'd like to sell in the morning and then purchase your house in the afternoon so that you don't have any carryover. Now, if you can't find a house in time, you really should have a backup plan. Best backup plan, I think, is finding some sort of short-term rental, some sort of a long-term rental, and then third, even having the option of moving in with a friend or a family member. And if it doesn't work out and you can't find something, at least you have a place to go and you're not under the gun. If you do have to go the route of moving into a short-term rental or a long-term rental or moving in with a family member, it's probably best to start looking about halfway in between the time you have to get out of that property. So if you're in that rental property for maybe 6 months, you should probably start to look at homes and look to get into contract about 3 months in, 3-month closing time. Simultaneously, you'll be able to move out of the rental and move into your new property. There's a lot that has to do with this process, and you really want to make sure that you hire the right agent. Otherwise, this process could become super stressful and the whole experience could not really be a great one. Hopefully, after watching this video, you get a really good idea of the process of either buying and then selling, or selling and then buying, and doing both simultaneously. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is possible if you have the right team put together. If you liked any parts of this video and got some value out of it, please like the video, comment if you have any questions, and follow my page and add me to your watch list.